All right, guys, hope you're all well. Let's just sign in here, see who's all in on the live with us. Guys, we're going to jump on and do probably 40, 50 minutes if we can today on the live. Get signed in with as many of you as we possibly can. Go. Yeah, let us know, guys, if you're in on the comments section. Give us a little nod. Bear with me. We've got the home production going today, which is never the easiest. Okay. All right. Who is all in the chatter today? John Drew 1. Good to see you. Abstract Media's got a couple of questions in there. Richie. Mr. Johnny Wonder's in the house. Mr. Fogel's in the house. Nice. Very cool. Dan, good morning from Australia. I love that. Love that. All right, guys. Yeah, usual format. Let's just get into some Q&A with you guys in mind. Whatever is troubling you in your golf games. Let's get into a bit of that. Let's see what's going on here. All right. Okay, where do you see most golfers splitting their irons for a combo set? I would say mostly it's in 6 and 7 iron. I think that's the majority we would see from people. Yeah, in and around there. That makes the most sense. I was just helping a friend yesterday with his new set, and we sort of comboed him up at 6 iron. I know from my own irons that I've got coming, some new T-Series irons. I actually got 2 6 irons. I got a T150 and a T100 because, you know, I'm not too sure whether I want to break it, the 6 iron or the 5. So it just really depends on the strength of your game, what you're looking for at certain parts of your game, delivery style, all that type of thing. Very personal, but for most people it's going to be between 6 and 7 iron. All right, struggle with driver, ping G30, max 10K. Feels like I'm swinging at an oar. Should I consider a mini driver? I think Abraham's asking. Yeah, I think mini driver's a great option for those of us, include myself in that, troubled with the big wand. Yeah, I definitely think that's well worth looking at without a shadow of a doubt. But you know, I think there's value also in building a short driver. You know, we've done that experiment in the past. Maybe one worth revisiting in the next little while is the short driver versus mini driver kind of conversation. So I think don't underestimate the value of keeping the bigger head size. 460cc, obviously really increasing that MOI or maximizing to the point of diminishing returns on MOI. And you know, going with a slightly shorter shaft that allows you to keep that angle of attack a little bit on the lower side, that low point, keep it, you know, around the ball, if not slightly ahead. I think that's advantageous for those of us who struggle with the driver. So, but definitely worth trying a mini without a shadow of a doubt. Guys, bear with me here. I'm not rocking my normal software, which has kind of got me rattled. Bear with me. I'm just going to try and pull it up. See, when I don't have the boys here. Not an easy task, all this live stuff. There we go. Bear with me here. I'm not rocking my normal software. We don't need that. Okay, now we're good. We're good. I can see the questions now. All right. Cheeky second question. Why don't TaylorMade sponsored players use T7MBs? Very good question. I like it as an iron. I think if you look at what goes on around that though, P7 T-Dub is obviously a phenomenal iron in so many different ways. And then if you look like the Rory Proto, there was obviously a DJ model at one point. Like there's guys who have blades that are specifically designed for them. Well, obviously that's going to be more advantageous for them as players. So maybe there's a little bit of that in it. But yeah. Andrew's asking, when do we get a proper update on what's happened with Mikey? You need to ask Mikey. You're coming and going to try and get some secondhand information if you're getting it from me. Obviously, I see Mikey, a lot, and we still play some golf together. We still hang out and all the rest of it. But Mikey will kind of tell you and tell everyone else what he's doing when he's probably got it solidified what he's doing. So I think that's probably an indication for him that he's not kind of got that nailed down just yet. Let's take this off here. Sorry. Let's go back to here. Okay. 1 second, guys. Okay. Trying to get rid of the technical issues. Mikey is sitting on a beach drinking pina coladas, according to Fogel. He's not. He's actually playing Baltusrol today. He's down in Jersey playing Baltusrol, which is very, very nice. All right. Richie, happy 4th of July from Wisconsin. Well, since it's not quite the 4th of July and it's also not quite Canada Day anymore, we'll throw it out there like we're in that in between of the Canadian holiday and the US holiday. So let's kind of go with happy North American holiday week. Let's go with that. Obviously, big one tomorrow for all of our great fans and followers in the US. I know it gives you a long weekend, which is awesome. And also for us in Canada, it's a little bit tricky. First Canada Day fell on a Tuesday this year, so lots of people kind of take the Monday off and they take the Monday, Tuesday with the holiday, so makes it a really short week, which is nice for a lot of people. All right. Let's see here. Let's see. Abstract Media's got a few in here, guys. I'm trying to not skip over any if we can avoid it. Blade Runner, hit my QI10 Max 3 wood 16 degree with a stock speeder shaft immaculately well. Tried replacing that in a QI10 LS head with a driver shaft equivalent and failed miserably. You're never going to replicate a 3 wood with a driver. There's 2.5 inches of length difference. There's a whole different club head package difference. It's just apples and pears. They might be right next to each other, but it's not like a 7 and an 8 iron. It's not like that. It's just very, very different. One is teed up. One is basically on the ground or slightly lifted. You're just not going to replicate that. You got to look at every club, really in the woods side of things, with an intention to individually optimize that club. That's a whole different thing in itself. So, just do try not to extract what you like about the 3-wood and replicate it in the driver. Treat the driver like its own separate, challenge and fitting. That's what I'd recommend. Is it worth keeping in options in the garage, such as different wedge bounces, or being able to swap out long? Absolutely. I talk about it like a squad of players in a football team. You don't go to a football game or soccer game, whichever you want to call it, but we'll call it football for my sake. You play with 11 players on the pitch, but what happens if one of those players isn't playing very well or gets injured, or a club breaks, or you need probably, if you've got 14 clubs, which is what we're allowed, I think you need 16, 17 clubs at least, maybe 17 to 18 maybe. I think additional lob wedges, additional hybrid versus high lofted woods versus long irons, I think all of them in the right situation have their place. Let's see. Adam, why don't OEMs work with third-party fitters to sell just a club head so consumers can pay for the head? I hear what you're saying, Adam. The reality is they do that. They absolutely do that. There's most of the big club fitting companies out there that you know of. I worked for one of them. I owned one of them at one point. We get head-only products. The problem you've got is the big box retailer who sells it for $599 does not want some company who are buying head only selling it at $519 and undercutting them so that you can just buy head only. So it really is driven by a bit of politics around the big box stores have so much power and sort of influence over the OEMs that the OEMs have to create a level playing field when it comes to price. So that's why, as a company who used to receive head only, we could never sell at a discounted price head only, unfortunately. Just the politics of it. And hello from Vermont. Thank you, Adam. Bogey Gopher. I like it. How to pick between P770 and P790 for a high 80 mile an hour 7-iron swing speed. I think obviously the loft package is quite different. P790 is more forgiving, slightly bigger in head. Obviously going to come out flatter and hotter. It doesn't seem... Now, your club head speed is 80, high 80 mile an hour range, which is great. You've got all the speed you need to play this game pretty well. But what is your delivered loft? That's often more important than what is your swing speed. So I would say if you're a high dynamic loft player, gravitate towards the P790. If you're a bit more of a neutral to lower dynamic loft player and you create enough ball speed, definitely gravitate towards 770. They are plenty forgiving enough. Andrew, following on from the 4-iron 7-wood hybrid video, do we have a rough idea on what swing ball speed is low point? Is low point for deciding when to ditch the lower irons? I guess you, Andrew, what you're saying is like, where's the cutoff in terms of speed? I think probably 4-iron offers very little value for people who swing driver any less than definitely 90 miles an hour on driver, maybe 90 to 95, unless you're a bit of a high dynamic loft player or a bit slicey in your delivery. It probably doesn't offer you much value. I would say 105 miles an hour and up, 4-iron comes back into the equation, that you create enough velocity and enough elevation that becomes a thing. But even at that, we're looking at the best players in the world. Like, a lot of them just don't see the value in some of these lower lofted irons, and they've got obviously such ideal delivery conditions, Andrew. So yeah, it really does, it just depends. But I think if your driver speed is under 100, it's probably worth you looking at an alternative to the 4-iron, given 4-irons are coming down at loft all the time, obviously. Here's the wee man in the house. Speak of the devil and he shall appear. Thought you were playing Baltusrol, young Michael. Let us know. Let us know. He maybe already has in the comments somewhere. Okay, Eric. Angle of attack with a 7-iron is 6.5 degrees down. How can I get more shallow? There could be some weight distribution things. You may be a little too lead side dominant at address, a little bit kind of in that stack and tilt mode, maybe. You maybe have one of your power sources is lateral, so you tend to find like having a big weight shift off it and a big weight shift back is how you create force. If that's the case, I would gravitate more towards rotation and vertical in terms of your creation of speed and power. That's kind of predominantly it. One drill I would give you, Eric, is go and hit some balls off of a bit of an upslope. So something that prevents you leaning in towards the slope a little bit. Just the opposite I give a lot of people who hit behind the ball and like go find a downslope and learn to get your weight forward. That will stop you hitting behind the ball as much. So, you know, I'd say, yeah, be aware of your weight. Try to favor your weight being a little bit more on the trail side. Right-handed golfers, it's going to be on your right side. And obviously, try to get that feeling of keeping it more there. And that's where the slope really, really helps, Eric. I think that should do it. Dan, irons start left and draw. Okay, pull draw. 2 degrees into out. All other numbers look good. Irons are 1 degree upright. Yeah, definitely, Dan. I think you could go a little bit flatter in your lie angles. The one caution I would have though, don't expect that to be the thing that really changes the ball flight. Ultimately, you've got a face angle problem. You have a nice face to path relationship in that the ball is curving left, which is good. The face is just too far left for the start point. You can go back to our shot shaping video we probably done about 2 months ago on the channel where we talked about, you know, that the perfect draw starts from an open face. And people are like, what? I thought, you have to get the face closed to hit a draw. You only have to have the face close relative to the path, right? So you've got, say, 0.0 is where the target is. You'd say your path is 4 degrees into out. You want probably the face to be closed relative to that path, but open relative to that target to create the right relationship on start line and curvature. That would be ideal. So, but lie angle will help a little bit. I would also maybe look at the weight of your clubs. Sometimes the clubs being a bit on the heavier side can really help as well. Henry is struggling with face control and the idea of swinging more left to neutralize the path. I've been swinging too far from the inside and obviously flipping it with the hands. Yeah, I mean, obviously the kind of people who struggle with getting the pivot to drive the golf swing, when the pivot stalls, the hands tend to accelerate, and obviously that's where the overdraw comes in, or certainly that pull draw comes in. We definitely don't want that. So, we have to get, you certainly in this case, Henry, have to get better at continuing the pivot, right? And the problem with an answer like this is that can come from so many different places. But I'd really encourage you to make sure the club is not coming too far from the inside behind you, where it's kind of stuck and you've got nowhere to go. So making sure the arms are kind of out in front of the body, a little bit more. and then making sure that it's really your big muscles, your body that's driving the pivot, and the club is a bit more passive in its release. As I say, the face increases in its rate of rotation when the body pivot stalls. Kyle, Ian, I took the driver out of the bag for a few rounds since it was being a problem club. Hit 5-wood instead. Have you gone through something similar? I mean, yeah, Kyle, in all honesty, it's a bit like what our graduation series is like. You know, we're moving forward to shorten the course in order to offset the need to hit driver all the time, so confidence can come back and, you know, you get a little bit of a feel for some other clubs. My go-to right now off the tee is still the mini driver. You know, on days when I'm struggling, I played yesterday, and mini driver was really quite good. Driver was better than it's been, but it's still not where I want it to be. So I would say 5-wood's a great starting point, Kyle. Then maybe try the next club, maybe get used to the 3-wood, and graduate back towards getting comfortable with that driver over time. I think that'll help. iGolf, hi Ian, if I shorten a counterbalance driver shaft to play 44, am I cutting off the, yes, you are cutting off the counterbalance section. You're not eliminating it all though. That counterbalanced element is distributed through the entirety of the butt section, but it will obviously impact how that club plays and you know, and the counterbalance nature of it. So, but just be careful by not making the club play too light. If you're cutting off the CB part of it, you're going to make the swing weight play really, really light, especially at 44 inches. Okay. Wow, a lot of comments here. Just going to skim through some of these. Ian, what driver shaft are you playing right now? VF. Also, can you compare the whiteboard to the DF? Thanks. What driver shaft am I playing right now? I'm playing a Diamana GT, which is kind of their, I would say a GT plays between a whiteboard and a blue board. You know, in the Diamana line, yeah, somewhere between that. It's kind of that, it used to be called, what was it called before? Justin Thomas had one. Forget. But so GT is what I'm playing right now anyway. And I really, really like it. I'm just stuck a little bit in that limbo land of between X-Flex and Stiff Flex. I'm playing a stiff. I've actually dropped down a little bit so I can feel the club from a timing perspective. But I'm swinging the club at like 112, 111 on quad, so I probably need to get back into X-Flex as well. So I feel like my dispersion might be suffering a little bit. VF and whiteboard feel very different to me. My interpretation is that VF feels a little bit better than whiteboard. For me, whiteboard is not a shaft that feels, you know, particularly smooth. I tend to feel like it's a little bit more cumbersome, or not cumbersome, but just it's a little bit more substantial when you swing it. Like you feel like you really have to put a lot of energy into it. I don't feel that way with VF, even though it's by the nature of the bend profile, it's very stout in terms of the tip deflection anyway. But I feel like it has enough feel in the handle in the midsection that it doesn't feel like a burden to me. I'm trying to just figure out this one. Ian, what would you say is the driver in the market currently with the most FORWW? No idea what that is. JDS, maybe come back to me with that one. I'll look out for your comment. I don't know what that is. I'm going to grab a couple of super chats because they are always greatly appreciated. And guys, for those of you who are doing super chats and you know like to contribute in that way, it is so appreciated. It really is. But one thing I would always say to people who do the super chats and like to do that, the membership platform is a much, much better investment for $6.99 or $5, whatever you're sort of, it's around that kind of same money, where you get a month worth of access to me through the WhatsApp group and the content that we deliver on the channel that is for just members only. There is member only content on there. We have another video actually coming out. It might even have came out today. That is a bunker specific video that's just for members. So those of you who like to contribute to the channel in that way, you can be a bit more selfish and get more value by going down the route of the membership. So just something to think of. Unbelievable is what I'm going to call this, or UNVBL. What is one thing you learned, one tip you would give for starting your own business? Oh, I love that. Will we start my own business not in the golf industry? Brilliant. I love that that's a totally different type of question. Those are the ones I enjoy a lot more. Man, I'd love a little bit of context as to the nature of the business. Obviously, our business was in our core competency, region in golf. That to me it made it easy to put the amount of time into it that I needed to make the business healthy and grow and do all the things. Like, for example, the YouTube channel for the first 2 years, I would do that on a Monday, and then I would work Tuesday through Saturday, sometimes a Sunday. So I worked kind of like a 6-day week for the first 2.5 years of having it. So the amount of time that you have to commit to it is significant. I think having people around you that you love to work with and trust, I think that's huge. Not having yourself in an environment where you feel like in the initial phase of a startup that you have any passengers that kind of aren't contributing to the cause. I always say to people, it's like working for corporations, like being on a cruise ship. When you're on a cruise ship, you don't feel the waves. There's lots of amenities. There's lots of upside. But it can sometimes, you lose a little bit of the sense of journey that you get when you're on a smaller boat, right? In this case, the smaller boat, you feel the highs and the lows much more. The team that are around you on that boat, you're working for one another. Therefore, the sense of common goal and common purpose is very, very different. That's one thing I love about being part of a small company. When it was me, Mikey, Tracy, Greg, like there was a core group of 4 or 5 of us, and like there was no such thing as clocking in and clocking out. We just done exactly what was needed. And if I had passengers or people who weren't willing to work for that cause, we would never have been successful in what we've done. So surrounding yourself with people that are also in it for that same common goal is super, super important. And honestly, feel free to be more specific if you've got other follow-up questions on that. It's kind of a broad one, but I just think the people you have around you are so vital. Matthew, what are your thoughts on wrist hinge? Distance versus accuracy considerations. I'm currently trying to limit hinge, but notice a decline in distance gain. Everyone has different ways of recruiting speed and power. You'll get loads of people who, like we done in the PlaneMate video, like Sean Foley and David Woods are big proponents of driving the bigger muscles and limiting what the arms and hands do, right? Have a little bit less and then have a bigger hub within the body. Yep, there's people who swing that way and swing it well, and you can be quite consistent. There's also people who have, incredible golf swings that the wrists are very involved. I know for me personally, if I don't load the wrists my club head speed is down 8 to 10 miles an hour. If I can get to the point where I'm, kinematically loading the golf club or the sort of, the energy sequence into the golf club properly, I go from being like a 108 player to 115 to 118 player. And that is by me getting the correct amount of load into the wrists. It works. It works actually for me, and it doesn't work for others. So, there's balance. Like, I'm not trying to load up the wrists on a 9-iron, if that maybe helps with the explanation. But yes, with the driver, maybe a fairway where speed is of value, I'm probably trying to, load up the wrists a little bit more at that. But for those of you who are trying to be conscious of whether, it's flexion or extension, whether it's ulnar or radial with the wrists, that's why the hack motion, little wrist sensor is so valuable. It gives you such really good information. So for yourself, Matthew, maybe an investment into hack motion might be of value for you to get that really good feedback. All right, let me jump back in the questions here. Matthew's asking, Ian, I hit the 245, 243 recently. I liked how hot the 245 felt, but the spin was better in the 243s, tighter ball flight. Matthew, it's why combo sets obviously exist. The speed off the face is advantageous for sure off the 245s, but the control and spin that you're talking about is advantageous off of the 243s. That's when, when I play them, I combo the 9-iron to 6-iron in the 243 and then the 5 and sometimes 4-iron in the 245, because I'm not really thinking about having a precise amount of spin with my 5 or 4-iron. I'm kind of looking to hit it about, 200 to 210, with each given club, or 200 to 215. I'm not really looking at like exactly how precise I'm trying to be, because from 200 yards, I'm trying to hit it within probably 40, 50 feet. I'm certainly not trying to hit it inside that. That would be unrealistic. So that's the beauty of combo sets, and you probably could benefit from having both. Andrew's saying, how's the neck recovery? I still laugh every time I think of you saying, should I be getting shooting pains down my arms? To Greg Rose immediately saying, no. The neck is much better, thanks, Andrew. Not entirely sure why. I have been doing, some really regular sort of soft tissue and corrective work with Dr. Lawrence that I see, who in my chiro, and helps me with that a lot. He's brilliant, and I'd say that's probably the main reason, is we do a lot of maintenance on the neck. There's a bit of a correlation that the better I seem to swing the golf club, the less my neck hurts. So maybe that's a little bit of a incentive to get your golf swing in better shape. But generally it's good. Thanks for asking, buddy. Appreciate that. Fraser is in a wet and windy Glasgow. Guys, I love my home city. I love Glasgow. I love Scotland. It's probably why I don't live there. Right now it's outside today. It's 27 degrees. Couldn't be a nicer day. And Scotland has a few of those a year. Obviously May was quite good for you guys, but I just don't think I could live there permanently again, knowing that your odds are so low of having nice weather. So hopefully you've got a nice holiday coming up, Fraser, and you can escape that. All right, there's the follow-up from JDS. What would you say in the driver market is currently the furthest forward CG? GT4, I think, is the furthest forward CG that I believe in the marketplace right now. Titleist GT4. Okay, I'm I'm going to try and skip forward a little bit if I can. Sorry if I'm missing you guys. Good one. Doctor, when is a new episode on the Golf Asylum coming? Missing them. We've recorded it. I'm just trying to think. I think it's almost certainly going to come out next Wednesday with myself and my new co-host. Next Wednesday. You'll enjoy it. It's a good one. I enjoyed it. I always say it's a bit like, the video that we just had come out this week. The 7-wood, 4-iron and 4 hybrid video. If we enjoy the video, generally you guys enjoy the video and it does well, and the kind of everyone wins. I really enjoyed doing this episode of the podcast. Therefore, I think you guys will enjoy it. And as I say, I have a new co-host to the podcast. I really enjoy doing content with other people. You guys probably already know that. Some things I like doing it on my own. I would say though, the majority of the time I would enjoy having a co-host more than not. So having a co-host on the podcast is good. Little follow-up. Thanks for the insight. It's a physiotherapy clinic east side of the GTA. My partner is a physiotherapist, and I will do most of the business side. Awesome. Very, very cool. Well, good luck to you guys. And there's in that field of all fields, there's never enough good people offering out great services. My mantra when it came to TXG was that we were a customer service centric company that sold golf clubs. Not a company that sells golf clubs and also has good customer service, or aspired to have good customer service. We were never perfect, but we aspired to be as good as we could. I always like to think that customer service was at the forefront of what we were to do, and hopefully, barring difficult circumstances like COVID with the supply chain stuff, I think we've done a nice job of our team, our employees, always got the gist that from me and Mikey and Tracy, if we didn't take care of our clients first, it wasn't a business worth having, that in my opinion. I'm not interested in selling products to people who hate doing business with us. I just would never want to be part of a company that people dealt with us because we were the best of a bad bunch, or there was a lack of other options. I would never want that. So good luck with everything, and I'll definitely look out for, I assume that's your logo, and maybe it is, and keep us up to date with how the business is going, and you're a local business to us, so if we can ever help with anything, happy to do so. Any plans to do video of the Pro S3s? There's not loads of tech, but a lot of videos. I've been surprised how forgiving they are. Actually, I'm kind of sitting down in my little office area, my house here. Through next door, on the other side of my little gym, the family who lived previously, it was like a movie theatre room. It's my club storage room now, and I actually have some Mizuno Pro S3s. Unfortunately, I've never hit them. I really should at some point go and give them a hit and go test them. I've always loved my 243, 245 so much that I've never actually been inclined to even hit them, Austin, if I'm being honest. So, it's a bit of a poor answer, I think, in terms, of I don't really have much value to offer in terms of what they do, but I should go take them for a hit at some point and see exactly what you mean about other people saying how forgiving they actually are. So I will do that for sure. All right. Ian back with the streams. Yeah, guys, we've said it before, and it will be the case moving forward. You have my word on it. We have a really better cadence now that Monday will be a video, Wednesday will be a podcast, Friday will be a video, Thursday will be very likely be a member video every week, or at least every other week. And Tuesday, I want that to be member live Q&A streams and also member-only streams, so that we, for the members of the Fraser Golf Institute, we will have time in a much more, not that this is a terribly big group, but even in this, we've been going for 40 minutes and I'm not going to get to every question. My goal within the Fraser Golf Institute membership is that we get every question, and it's actually not just a Q&A like this where you guys put in a question. I want it to be where almost like a Zoom call or like a Google Meet call where, I can see all your faces and I can like give you the microphone so you can talk and we can have context with one another. For me, that's the future of us doing these Q&As, is not just via questions that sometimes we might answer and sometimes we might not, just through volume. So, members of the FGI, the Fraser Golf Institute, will obviously, get the first in that. Addy, I'm not sure if you've got a question that follows up to that. Sorry, I just saw your super come through, but I don't see a question. I will look out for it. Let me, in fact, have a scan just to see if I've missed you. Looking for you, Addy, sorry. Oh, there you go. Let's see. Why are consistent yardage gaps the norm? Why not tighter gaps under 150 and scale the gaps as the yards increases? I would say progressive distance gaps, like you're saying here. I would say that's more the norm in my realm. When you have consistent loft gaps, call it 3 degrees, 4 degrees, whatever it might be, and you have a consistent amount of ball speed, relative ball speed coming off the club face, that's when yardage gaps can be much more predictable. When you get into golf clubs that do not increase in length by half-inch increments, so you go from 4 iron at 38.5 inches to a hybrid it's 40.5 inches, you've effectively jumped up 4 clubs in length, 2 inches generally, within the iron sets 4 clubs. And the metal wood or hybrid construction is generally hotter than an iron. So that's where the gapping obviously stretches out a little bit. So I think there should be, if you're 10, 12 yards in your irons, you should be more like 15, 18 yards in your hybrids, and then between 3-wood and driver can be 25 yards. That's very feasible. So, I just think it just depends where you're getting, I guess, your information. But I think progressive gapping is more appropriate than consistent gapping through the clubs. This is an interesting one. Thoughts on DG mid 115 shaft? Typical miss on iron is left with a Project X60. I think one of the problems you get when you've got like a dynamic gold tour issue shaft, and kind of obviously that's been so successful, and you kind of have different versions of it, it's never quite, I don't ever find they're quite as good as the original. Obviously it's a slightly softer shaft, certainly a lot softer than a Project X60. Bogey golfer, I would be more inclined for you to go up to something like with a bit more weight in it, without having obviously the stiffness. So like maybe like a Modus 125. You know, I think something that's a little heavier is a little bit harder to release and rotate. So I wouldn't, if your miss is left, I wouldn't be going lighter and softer. I'd be generally going a little bit heavier and maybe equally as stiff. So just my preference. But there's lots of other ways to mitigate left, lie angle, offset, you know, CG location, loads of different things. Andrew, who is my pick for the Open stroke Scottish Open? I mean, dare we see Bob McIntyre for the repeat? I'd love to see that. He's good form, obviously following on from the US Open, you know, near kind of miss, if you want to call it that. He was so close, he played so well down the stretch in that back nine. Portrush, who's going to win at Portrush? I don't think it's Scotty. I don't think Scheffler's there. I don't think Rory's there either. I think just what, you know, the kind of fall off in form from him winning the Masters is not what I expected at all. Who else is in that category? I think you know, maybe if you look at Jon Rahm, obviously, you know, for whatever you want to take from his live form, never not making the top 10, I don't know if I hold much value in that. You know, he's obviously playing great some weeks and less so others, and he's still, you know, in the conversation. I would say what is more encouraging for him is the fact that he was right there with 9 holes to go at Quail Hollow. Had a bad back nine, ho-hum, you know, it happens. He had to press a little bit to probably keep going to catch Scotty, but he never quite made it. So I would say he was close at Quail. And he kind of done the opposite at the US Open. He wasn't great, and then he kind of found himself getting on a heater on the last day and kind of got himself to, I think, +3 on the leaderboard or something like that, and finished, you know, 3 shots back. But so I'd like to say, you know, I'd like to say Jon Rahm, I think would be a real good bet. As much as it pains me, Tyrrell Hatton's going to sneak up and nab one of these one day. I'm not the biggest Tyrrell Hatton fan in the world. I know he entertains a lot of people, and he's kind of, if you kind of like that side of golf, a lot of people like his character, that he's true to himself. It's not for me, I'll be honest. It's not how I see the game, but I think he could be sneaky. Yeah, Tyrrell Hatton, Andrew, could be a sneaky one. All right, who else have we got? Guys, let's stay on for a few more minutes. We'll grab a few more. What do you prefer, alternate shot or best ball? Both match play and with handicap for a friendly tournament. I'd say best ball. I think alternate shot, you know, you kind of, you can have a team out of the hole quickly with a lost ball or a poor tee shot or something. At least with best ball, you've got one player that's still in the hole. So that would be my preference. All right, guys, let's see a few more coming in. I'm going to make sure I've got everyone's supers. I think we do, which is good. Guys, thanks for the questions. This has been good stuff today. Can you greet my friend Simon? Team United against. He will lose his Team United versus our Team Heritage on Sunday on the 8105 tour. Love it. You know, I think these kind of like matches, or whether it's like a Ryder Cup. I know people do, friend groups have Ryder Cup formats and things like that. You know, I think it's such a cool thing. We're actually working on a little concept of our own with our friends up at TPC Toronto to host a Ryder Cup, whether it's our kind of fans and followers of Fraser Golf Institute, and we have a team Mikey and a team, you know, Ian, and we kind of have, we have a little concept where we play over a couple of days, and, you know, we maybe play, you know, 36 holes on a Friday, and then we have an 18-hole singles, you know, on a Saturday or something like that. We're noodling around some concepts to do something like that. So these types of concepts I love. So hope the event, if that's what it is, Team United against Team Heritage, hope it goes well, guys. Have a blast. There's nothing better than that type of camaraderie. Ian, would you say Modus 125X and Modus 105X, similar swing other than weight? No, they're subtly different profiles. I think on the EI curve, Nippon actually have the overlay of the EI curve. I think they are more similar. Certainly the 120 is a completely different EI curve. But yeah, that Modus 105X is a bit of a unique beast. It's quite a lot heavier. Yeah, I would always encourage you to hit those two before just making a decision over the weight, you know, the 105 versus the 125. I wouldn't say they would play exactly the same. KGB Brody's just became a member. Thank you. Really appreciate that, guys. You know, we're loving growing the membership. You know, it really does keep us more connected as a group. You know, you've got access to the WhatsApp group. You know, I can show you right here. We've got the Fraser Golf Institute, the legends, the prospects and the members, all right there. So, you know, really, really cool. You know, I hear from the members a lot throughout the week, you know, different questions about. I was talking to one of an old friend actually, and a member the membership platform about quad versus TrackMan, and you know, that's going to be a place to kind of have, you know, constant communication, which is really fun. So, you know, I definitely recommend those of you who are into it, you know, jump over and take a look at the membership. Sad you and Mikey aren't fitting. Any good fitters you trust in Calgary? I'll be in Utah for a week. Any recs there? Want to try 7-1? I mean, I think in Calgary, still the same, you know, team that were part of us. I think David Dring is certainly still there at the Club Champion Calgary store. David's great, and he would be my go-to guy in the Calgary area, no doubt about that. Yeah, we're sad. Mikey and I are sad we're not fitting two at the minute, but, you know, all good things that give us a bit of time to, you know, figure out what's coming down the pipeline for us next. So we won't be away for too long. Interesting one. Do you do in-person lessons? How do I sign up? Actually, I'm not doing in-person lessons, but it just you know, logistics around. I don't have a home base that I teach out of and that type of thing. I will almost certainly, with high probability, launch online tuition. So more of the Skillist type of model where you guys can send me data, launch monitor data. You can send me swings, putting, chipping, bunker play, whatever it will be, and I'll be able to give you feedback and thoughts and a bit of a roadmap and plan for making that better. So, you know, happy to, if that's something that interests you, we will be doing that in the very near future. That's cool. Started the Team Heritage versus Team United 2 years ago, 20 players. Love that. 6 matches, one Ryder Cup. Love that. I'd pay good money to see a match, a team talk from Mikey as captain. Yeah, it would involve some red wine, I can guarantee you that. Awesome. Andrew, thank you for joining as a member. That is awesome. Chris, this is great. Okay, hold on till tomorrow. We are doing a video literally about, we're doing a video about putting tomorrow, and it is basically about how to prepare for playing. So tomorrow's video, eliminate 3 putts, 10 minutes. This is exactly up your alley. That is tomorrow's video on the channel, so check that out. Tyler, sorry, let me see if I can get the other part of your question. Sorry about that. Oh no, you asked 2 questions. Okay, all right. Let me get this one. So Ian, I'm having trouble with high behind lower heads. Right. So definitely, yeah, get the swing, get the swing weight and head weight higher. That is without a shadow of a doubt. Find the right balance of driver head weight. I mean, if you're cutting an inch or so off it, it's trial and error. There's no formula for it. You know, every ½ inch of shaft reduction, you lose 3 swing weights. So that's going to give you an indication as to what you need to do to get those back. Putting in 6 grams of head weight back into the head to offset the ½ inch, that type of thing. So, yeah, that's what we want to do. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that's what you were looking for. All right. Guys, I'm going to just take one last question here. I've played the 105X with success, but finding a 125 demo is almost impossible. Yeah, I get it. It's hard especially trying to find one shaft that, you know, you've got to pull a shaft out and install it and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, no, it's not easy. It's not easy. I would say, you know, 105X versus 125X, you're probably getting weight and an increase in stiffness. So you might also want to look at the 125 stiff as well. That's something that might be a little bit closer to what you need. Actually, I have a set of 125 stiff modus coming in my new T-Series irons, which I should have in the next day or so. So, yeah, I maybe wouldn't be inclined to tell you to jump straight back into those. Okay, guys, I'm going to love you and leave you top of the hour. Thank you for jumping on. As I said earlier, for those of you who maybe missed the start, we will be doing this formatted, and I don't want to do the first one because I want to give everyone due notice that in the future, the lives will be 50% to our whole audience, 50% to the membership audience. So those that are on the membership will get a much more intimate setting where you can ask questions and that type of thing. So it will be 50-50, you know, split over maybe 90 minutes, and we'll do something like, you know, 45-45 between the whole subscriber base and the membership. So that's likely what we'll do. Awesome. Josh, I'll grab this last one. Glad you're enjoying the channel. Really, you know, we enjoy it. It's great. I mean, honestly, guys, like to see a video like this week, I mean, it gives you a little sense to see like our video this week that's done, I don't even know how many views it's done now. It's probably done 94,000 views in the first 3 days. Our video this week, like that to us is a little channel or a growing channel is bananas. So we appreciate that so much. And I can only imagine, like, if you're a music artist or something and, you know, you make songs that people like, and you know, you just get that one song that just pops. That's what it's like for us when we get a video like that. You know, videos will do 20,000 views, 25, 15, some will do 40. We know the what's in the bag stuff does well. You guys like that always. But when a video resonates with our audience like this, and even beyond, I mean, our subscriber base is 57,000, I think we're at right now. And you get like almost double that in terms of the you know, the views on a video. It's, you know, like we get so jazzed with that. Like Cody and Casey and I are texting each other like, boys, it's at 25,000 views, 50,000 views. You've no idea how much we enjoy that side of things when a video pops for us. And that's you guys obviously showing your support for us. So, you know, yeah, it means a lot. You know, commenting on the videos means a lot. We love to interact with you guys. You know, leaving a like, passing it on to friends who you think within a friend group, you've got maybe a WhatsApp group or something, sharing the channel with them and you know, recommending that they join. All of those things just grow our little network. I'm going to just bear with me 1 second. I gotta share. To get, let me turn this around a little bit. To get a second one of these little 100,000 subscriber plaque, that's the goal within this calendar year. So really want to get that. You know, it's, as I say, you know, we've done it. Matt and I done it, and then obviously beyond that, Cody and Casey and I are building this channel, and you know, I want, you know, 3 of these things. I want one for me, another one for me, that would feel great, and I want one each for the boys, because all the hard work the 3 of us have put into it over the last, you know, I think we're 6 months in now or whatever it is, 57,000. I think we can. It'll be a tough, tall task to get it to 100,000 within the first year, but I think we're capable of doing it, and you guys are the ones that are going to make that happen. So really appreciate all your support. Yeah, really, really do. We'll get 100K, you'll get 500K. We'll start with 100. We'll start with 100. Our humble goals will start with 100, and then, you know, beyond that, we'll go from there. But that's certainly within the first calendar year. If we can get to that kind of stage, I'll be over the moon. You know, there's creators out there, good friend Alex Etches. There's other creators out there that, you know, it can take a long time to get that first plaque, and then the snowball effect and things like that. So yeah, it's really, really fun, and it's great to do it with you guys as part of the community. So guys, love doing these things with you. Really, really appreciate all of you who have joined on today. Look out for our social content on more of the kind of structure of the weekly content. As I say, Monday will be a video, Tuesday will most likely be Q&A, Wednesday podcast, Thursday will be a video for the membership platform, Friday will be our usual video for the platform. We want to try and do at least one something a week for you guys, so we can communicate. So really, really appreciate it. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. For friends in the US, happy 4th of July tomorrow. Canadian friends, hope you've had a great Canada week. Hope everyone's doing great. Start to the summer. Get loads of golf. Get out and see your friends. You know, get out and enjoy the best of the weather out there. No doubt about that. All right, we'll see you next week. Take care, guys.